I'd like to move on, and we're just taking a different approach now and inviting up Pip Stewart to talk to us about her personal journey with melanoma. Pip was diagnosed with melanoma only recently, and when Julie Fraser and myself met with Pip, we were very inspired by her personal story and the way that she has handled herself and what she's achieved in the months following. She's since that time taken on the role as co-facilitator of the Melanoma Patients Australia support group that meets here in Brisbane, and it's with great pleasure that I invite her up today to share with you her personal journey.
Well, afternoon everyone, and I just thank MPA and Cancer Council Queensland for the opportunity to come here and share my story. And I just like to say it's just such an honour and privilege to be here to share it. And yes, this photo, we've seen lots of photos of beaches and people lying on beaches in the sun, but this is a lovely picture of the city that I have spent most of my life in, and it's Dunedin, New Zealand. And I know we saw a slide today showing that statistics are pretty high over there as far as melanoma goes. And as a child, of course, growing up at my age, I had those sunburns, those blisters, those peelings. And yeah, even though the climate was a lot cooler than here, the sun is really, it burns really bad there. We always say it's a hole in the ozone level, so yeah. So last year, in August, I'd come back from a lovely holiday in Spain, UK, Canada, catching up with friends, having a lovely time. And when we were over there, my partner Sherman noticed something on my shoulder and mentioned to me that I needed to get it checked. And when we came back home, he reminded me that it needed to happen. So I did go straight away to my doctor and had it checked. And my GP referred me to the specialist in the clinic there who worked with melanoma, and I went to him. And that day he kind of looked at it and thought, could be serious, but he decided to shave it. He shaved it that day, and we made arrangements how I would receive the results and the plan, and it was kind of later in the week. And when I got a call the next day, I was kind of surprised and thought, oh, what do they want to see me about? Because I didn't think it was anything too serious. And yeah, but it was a level 4, 2.3 millimetre melanoma, and it was a nodular, so it was serious. So from then on, the roller coaster ride started, and I was referred to Royal Brisbane Hospital, where I went, and I must admit I really appreciated that the doctor explained to me about a sentinel lobe biopsy, and he gave me lots of information, and he gave me the chance to make my decision, what sort of treatment I wanted. And yeah, that's something that really does help that journey when you're given that choice, that you feel that you've got some control in what treatment you have and yeah, how things go. So I chose to have a sentinel lobe biopsy, so that again, another referral, waiting, that kind of stressful time of wanting things to happen quicker. But systems don't always work as quick as we want them to do. So yeah, and then I came to PA Hospital, and from that I had my sentinel lobe biopsy, and that came back positive. And there was a little story in that sometimes hospital systems don't quite get it right. I'd had my surgery on the Monday, and then I got a phone call from admissions on Friday saying that I was booked in for surgery. I said, oh no, I've had surgery this week, you know. And then it kind of worked out that, yeah, I had been booked in for surgery the 10th of December, and they'd got ahead of the clinician. So they'd made my theatre time, but the clinicians hadn't talked to me about the results first. So I quickly got on the phone to Melanoma Clinic, and fortunately it was a Friday and Melanoma Clinic was happening. And I talked to the registrar and Dr. Bailey, my surgeon, and they were so helpful and so apologetic of the mix-up. But yeah, so I was able to go to see them next Friday, and again I got that Dr. Bailey was really good at explaining to me the pros and the cons, and for me to make that decision whether to go through with a full dissection. And from that information, I made the choice that I was going to have my lymph nodes removed. And after the first surgery, that seemed a breeze, yeah. Went running again on the Saturday, did park run, still had my stitches. A friend said to me, "Did the doctor say you could run?" I said, "I didn't ask, you know, I just feel good." So I'm a runner, so I just get out and run. So, and then came to building up the time of the dissection. And I probably thought the last surgery, yeah, that was pretty easy. Maybe it's just going to be the same. And I think I kind of had it in my head that it was going to be the same. But yeah, that's not quite. I know the day before my surgery, I always like to go for a really long run because I think, oh, you know, I have a few days where I have to rest. But yeah, that having that surgery was a lot tougher than the first one, that's for sure. It was, yeah, after the surgery I was pretty good. All I wanted to do was get home, of course. And I spent from the Monday to the Thursday in hospital and then had my drain removed and then went home. But after that, you know, my sight leaked, my bed would be covered in blood and mess. It was just, yeah, it was a really, really hard time. And I did feel pretty miserable. So, and this went on, and I think I had, yeah, and I was kind of, because I was feeling miserable, I wasn't using my arm, and so kind of things get worse. So the next Friday, I had an appointment at Melanoma Clinic, and fortunately, they've got a great team there, and Dr. Bailey said, "You're not leaving here till you see the physiotherapist here," because he could see that I was obviously miserable. I couldn't move my arm, and at that consultation, I met Anna, the physiotherapist, who made my life a lot more, a lot better. She was my saviour. She showed me some really good exercises to do. Even though I couldn't see her straight away, she was really supportive and really helpful. And her ongoing treatment, yeah, she was great. I had cording, so it made it really sort of difficult to move my arm. I couldn't drive a car, I couldn't do things, but she got me going. But also her encouragement was just so, yeah, it was amazing. I'd arrive at her and she'd say, "Oh, Pip, I need to give you a gold star," because I know I did the work too, but her encouragement really helped me to do that work. So, and from that, here I am. And what helped me through that really, really challenging time was I'm someone that exercises a lot, and not being able to exercise, I think, yeah, made it really hard. But how I sort of cope with those sad feelings, that difficult time, was I'd get up every morning and go for a really good walk, and just getting out and just getting active. It doesn't matter what you do, just being active just helps you so much in your recovery and just the way you feel about things. And I suppose, being my background as a social worker, and here I am, someone going along to appointments where my whole family's coming along, or just about feels like the whole the room is, you know, with us sitting there listening to what the doctor has to say. And as a social worker, I'm always that person that is going to support my families to make sure they get what they're entitled to, or that they get fair treatment. And here I'm having to have that support. Those sort of things I found really, really challenging in my journey, that, yeah, being on the other side of needing that support. And I suppose the fact that I have, managed to to get through having my melanoma and to stay positive, has probably been how I've probably approached life, and the resilience I have built up from, you know, some challenging experiences in my life. So fighting melanoma, going through melanoma just felt like, oh, well, it's another curveball's been sent my way. And there's always a reason for why a curveball is sent your way, and it's what you do with that curveball that makes a difference. And so, living life to the fullest, I believe. I also had another curveball. I turned 60 this year. So what I did, my children gave me a skydiving experience for my birthday present, and that was great. And from all the negatives comes the silver linings. And I'll start at the bottom, fully feeling supported by family and friends. My partner Sherman's here, and Catherine are here today, and you know, it just makes you realise how grateful you are for the support you have from family and friends when you're going through a situation like this, and how much harder it would be if you didn't have that support. I have made, you know, even though I felt that I was doing pretty well in my lifestyle, I kind of checked my diet, I'm a runner, I'm fit, I'm healthy, you know, it really made me reevaluate where I was. And I took up swimming, and that was part of my shoulder, getting my shoulder back working, advice from my physio, yoga. I was doing yoga before, but yoga became even more important to me because it is really, really good for your lymph system. And when you've had treatment for your lymph, you want to do everything you can to prevent getting lymphedema or any of the complications you can get from having a lymph node dissection. And my diet. Even though I thought I'd always been quite health conscious about my diet, it really made me reevaluate my diet. And of course now we've bought a juicer, and yeah, eating more organic food, and just really being really reading labels. And spirituality, I think that's something that, you know, you really do think about when you have an experience like a diagnosis with melanoma. And I really do believe in that, you know, things happen for a reason, and our path, and, you know, just little things that have happened along on my journey have just really, like coming to MPA, and just things like the day I rang the hospital, when there was a mix-up, the register, they were actually looking at my notes at that time. You know, I do believe the universe is looking after me. And I've taken to meditation, and I do believe that, you know, maybe the way I've handled stress in my life hasn't always been a positive way. And doing my daily meditation, I just can't believe the difference that makes to the way I handle situations, the way I handle life, and the way I'm back working full time and working with complex families. That's a really stressful job as a social worker, and I know through my meditation it really, really helps my work. And having those positive thoughts, it's so easy to get into the negative about things, but to really sort of stop yourself when you start thinking those real negative thoughts about things. And the most important thing is being kind to ourselves. I think we are always the worst critics of ourselves, and to me, just being a lot more kind. When we're really critical of ourselves, we should always think, how would we talk to a friend if they came along and talked to us about that? And it really makes you think about and reflect on how you do treat yourself. And through that, and that helps managing the positive ways of managing stress through my lifestyle changes. And coming to MPA, I came to MPA in the February after my diagnosis, and I've just found it just such a great support, inspiration, friendship, motivation, and lots of information. And I knocked 30 minutes off my marathon time this year when I ran my marathon. And I'd run my first marathon last year, not long before I was diagnosed. And this year, it really was an emotional feeling when I crossed that line, because, I don't know, maybe running a marathon seemed pretty easy this year after dealing with going through a melanoma diagnosis. So, but it did make me feel really good, especially the 30 minutes, if you're competitive. Thank you, everyone.